It's October, so you guys know what that means. If you make out with me, there's going to be some pumpkin spice in your mouth. That face was great. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bog Panda. I am Dr. Mike at Official Pagan on everything, and joining us, as always,
to get a send help sign that I can put up on occasion. And then you'd be sending help to Kelly at KELLYTHUL on Twitter and Instagram. And thanks for joining us on Bog Panda. If you get a moment, if that stirring introduction didn't scare you away, maybe you can subscribe to Bog Panda, like a few of our videos, leave us a comment or two. Love to hear for that. Go take a look at the merch stuff we have out there. Take a peek at our merch, which is a t-shirt we're not going to be able to make. Tasting pumpkin spice in your mouth is another t-shirt that I guarantee you is not
well, you
going to
can
make.
soften the edge. Just I taste like pumpkin spice.
They'll have that'll sail through. They'll sail through. What am I worried about? That's a piece of cake. Yeah. So thanks for that.
So, are you a Halloween guy, Kelly? And I don't mean the holiday; I mean the film franchise.
Yes, I am. I enjoy it. It has a confusing path as we go deeper and deeper into it. And I'm probably mostly pro Jamie Lee Curtis affiliated Halloweens, but I like Halloween series overall.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Their continuity is awful. It's when when I rewatched all of these back to back to review them with our friend Tony Viejo. It's harder watching them together than it is watching them separately over a period of time. If you try, like I watched them all within like a 2 week span to prepare for that, and it it's harder for me to explain the timeline just watching it than it is after that when you've had time to decompress from each one and kind of just accept that they're going to every single movie completely retcon huge chunks of what came before it and just kind of come to terms with that. But overall, I really like the movies. um, More recently, we've had a new trilogy of Halloween films, which, like every film that came before it, each one retcons everything that came before it, other than the first film. But they even retcon themselves, just like every other film does, because the first one was supposed to be a brand new replacement sequel, like a new part two, picking up right after John Carpenter's original, and except that it acknowledged other things from the sequels, which doesn't make any sense. And then the second movie, which came out last year, that was called Halloween Kills, and that took that even a step further because it introduces a plot line that didn't come in until the original second Halloween movie and isn't actually a part of this trilogy timeline. And I'm sure we're going to get even more of that with Halloween Ends, the final film in the Halloween franchise, which is coming out October 14th. That's going to be in theaters and same day streaming on Peacock. If you're one of the people who has Peacock, and if you do, it's because you got it to watch the last Halloween on there and forgot to cancel it. So I'm with you watching it on there. Peacock does have a ad based tier though that's like $4 or $5 a month or something like that. So it's not bad. There is some decent stuff on there. Uh, in order to promote this film, though, not that it really needs promotion, but in order to promote this film, they did make a little online game that you can play on the Halloween Ends website, the final movie. Halloween Ends. Halloween is like Kiss. Every time they end it or wrap it up or go in a different direction, it always comes back again, usually about a year or so later. So if you believe for a second that ends being in the title means it's the last film, you're an idiot. So it'll be back again with a whole new timeline and tons of retconning and who knows what else. But I am excited to kind of see where this particular trilogy is going to end. To its credit, they did bring back John Carpenter to do the music for all three of these movies, which is important. He did do the music for the original three movies, and then, of course, his iconic theme was used over and over again in the subsequent films. I have enjoyed these. They are co written by Danny McBride, who's known for his comedy work. And Jamie Lee Curtis is back in them, even though she died twice in two other timelines prior to these. And it also re retcons that she is not his sister again in this, which in the original one she is not. That is something that's introduced in the sequel where they completely rewrite the backstory of the first movie, and it's all a big mess. But they made this little online game you can play, and it's a retro style video game. For me, it put me very much in mind of Paperboy, actually. And for some reason, I was able to play it without bike handles.
Yeah, which is basically impossible. I hear that there's only
Impossible to
one way
do.
you can play Paperboy.
But essentially, the gameplay consists of you as Jamie Lee Curtis, the Laurie Strode character, running down a street, avoiding obstacles while Michael Myers chases very closely behind you. And if you stumble, he is going to kill you. So you have to make your way around all these obstacles, cars and people, and various things in the road to try and avoid him as long as you can. So, did you get a chance to check this game out, sir?
Lightly. So I've had a chance to a little bit. It is very uh, one might the cynic out there might say that this is a reskinned version of similar games with just changing uh, a couple sprites and some of the action sequences. It is, I believe, the true successor to Halloween on the Atari 2600. I think our orientation has shifted at this point in time. Instead of left and right, it's up and down in terms of that. But you can see echoes, less the beheadings, but you can see echoes of that fine Halloween on the 2600 version in this game as well, and a true noble, worthy successor to it. But it's fun. I mean, it is what it is. Much like Halloween on the 2600 is what it is. It's not quite as repetitious as that, but it is a pretty cool thing. It's definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of the series or any one of the many timelines you could select within it. It's still kind of fun.
Yeah, and the important thing to remember is that Halloween 3 is the best movie in the series. And if you don't think that, you're wrong. You're wrong. But yeah, it is fun. Like Kelly said, there are a lot of other similar online games that are used to promote things. I thought it was important to mention though, because they do go for a specifically retro look for this. Like I said, it kind of has a paperboy type look and feel to it. So it was worth mentioning on the show here. Plus, we had covered the Atari 2600 adaptation of Halloween. And Halloween doesn't have much of a video game legacy the way a lot of other horror films do. A lot of other horror movies have had multiple licensed games. Jaws is a really big one. There's a lot of Jaws games, but there are Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser games. Every major franchise seems to have a couple of games under its belt. And Michael Myers has made surprisingly few video game appearances. So, this is basically the sequel, or as much of a sequel as we seem to be getting for the Atari 2600 version, which weirdly is gorier than this game is.
Yeah, it actually is.
Yeah. It's actually the more violent of the two games, the original Atari 2600 version of Halloween. But I still enjoyed it. I had fun with it. I think part of it, like Kelly said, we've seen games like this before, but part of it as a fan is just we don't have a lot of Halloween video games to choose from. So we have to kind of latch on to what we have.
Bog Panda.